Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Beauty School Bobbi podcast. Today I got to interview Leo G, a barber from Knoxville, Tennessee, that was brought into our life after he won Best Barber at our award show, the Tennessee Beauty Professional Awards. We have been able to move through this past year with him and really watch his growth in the industry. Not only that, but we've been able to grow closely with him enough to know that Leo is the real deal. He is so sweet and has given back to his community in such a big way. So we have been so excited to share an episode, to interview him, and to really highlight all of the great things that he's doing. But in the episode, we talk about ways to motivate yourself when you're young, and how to set yourself up for a successful career. Leo works with high schools in our area. So not only by sharing his story are we hoping to help motivate others, but to really highlight all of the amazingness that is Leo G. So I hope you love this episode. Make sure that you rate, review, subscribe, do all the things, and just make sure that you're following us at Beauty School Bobbi on Instagram and YouTube, and make sure you're following us at Beauty and Style Network. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Beauty School Bobbi podcast. I am here today at Phoenix Barbershop in Knoxville, Tennessee with Leo G. Leo, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm so happy we're finally recording.
Yes.
It's crazy that it took this long.
It did, right? We've been postponing it and we've been like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this and that, but there's always a perfect time for it, right? Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Of course. No, we're so excited. So I want to go back to how we met, because I think that we've talked about this a lot, but I think that worlds collide when they're meant to. And Leo was actually named Barber of the Year for the first ever Tennessee Beauty Professional Awards. And so you crossed our path in that way. And when you won, we were so excited, not even knowing you. Just your work was so good, and the judges were just like blown away. And I think Mark and I were both like, we're in Knoxville. Who is this guy? You know?
Yeah.
It was that feeling. And I love that you won. You were the perfect winner. Tell me about what that meant for you to be acknowledged in that way in your community, and kind of what that looked like.
Well, I've been a barber I've been cutting hair for about 11 years, but professionally I've been doing it for, I would say, about 5 or 6, right? And my dream was always to kind of bring my name up here in Knoxville somehow, right? I put up my shop in 2020, which is Phoenix Barbershop, and I've been open, and we're now in 2025. And a lot of good things have happened throughout all those years, but it meant so much to me because I felt like I was in a dream. And thanks to you for creating the Tennessee Beauty Awards here. It meant so much to me. You know, it was unreal. I was so happy for it. Seeing my work up in the stage, my name, it was just awesome.
Yeah, it was a really great night, and I think it was really good for you to like really solidify who you are, because it's funny that you said you wanted to like make a name for yourself here, because it's exactly what you've done. And not only just from the barber shop or from all of the things you're doing, you give back to the community in a really special way, that has, I mean, you've been featured on the news, the newspapers, like everybody's been covering what you're doing, because I think that you just have this special light in you that is like so obvious, but it's always a light to give back. There's always purpose behind that.
I feel that light comes from after defeating cancer. I was going through that process of being sick and just going to the hospital, getting chemotherapy, and after getting cured, it kind of just opened my eyes and seeing how much more I could do for the community, or how I could change lives also. Because God changed my life with just being here again without being sick. But yeah, I think that was a life-changing experience for me, and that's how I kind of wanted to give back, you know, to the community, or just people that helped me be who I am today.
Yeah, I've told so many people, like the high school teachers that are adding barbering into their programs, that you are somebody, I'm like, he will do anything. Like, he will speak to the students. He's such a good role model. I think that that's something that is really special about you too, because you don't come in it at a way of like with ego, like you really show up humble. And I
Thank you.
think the students are able to connect with you and they listen because they don't
Yes.
need someone else. I mean, it's on social media, it's on wherever. They don't need someone else telling them like how good you are. Like they
Mhm.
know it just from what you're doing. So you don't have to say it. They just know.
Yes. I think it's really beautiful with what Knoxville has done with the X65 Academy. I think it's wonderful because it gives a special spotlight for us so we can kind of present ourselves to the students to
Yeah.
see who we are and what we become and that it is possible, you know,
Yeah.
because while being in high school, you kind of want to know or you're trying to decide what you want to do. But once you put a role model or somebody that's been there, it's really helpful.
It makes it look real. And I
Yeah.
think that's the thing is I think a lot of times you just have to make it known that it's attainable, that they can do this too, that they're in ninth grade when they first get exposed and they first get to choose their path for the 865 academies. And I think for them to see, okay, you know what? Maybe I haven't figured out what I want to do yet, but I like this. Like, this is where I want to be. And I think
Yeah.
it's going to be really special when you have somebody in a few years that comes to you and has gone through school and has done it. And they're like, no, I met you in eighth grade, ninth grade, whenever that is. I think that's going to be amazing.
Yeah. And I've had a couple students reach out to me and be
Okay.
like, "Hey, Leo, how you doing? Can I come to the shop? Can we hang out?" Stuff like that. And I just find that really beautiful because, you
Yeah.
know, I'm a person that's not going to give them a bad advice or
Yeah.
something bad to do. I'm just guiding them in the direction that they want to go,
Yeah, and I
you know?
think like them, like I said, having a role model that's positive and that can show them that how you treat your clients with gratitude and all of that stuff. Like
Right.
it's pure.
It's,
It's not fake. It's like really who you are.
yes.
So I think for them, especially a male, it's interesting because for us, like we don't have a barbering program, and so I'm new to the barber world. I think like through ABS and stuff, we've been able to get closer and like really learn what the barbering world is, but it's changing right now too. Like it's very different
It is.
than it was.
It is. I can't say I'm an old school barber, you know, but I've heard it's different now, you
Yeah.
know, because it comes along with a lot more things now. It's all social media,
Mhm.
traveling, or just putting yourself out there. There's an opportunity there to do that now, you
Mhm.
know, and being in barbering has opened so many opportunities for myself.
Mhm.
For being like, for example, being the barber for the Tennessee Smokies, which
Mhm.
is so mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
But thanks to everything that I've like kind of how I've carried myself and all the good
Yeah.
job that I've done with my clients and all that, it's kind of built up my reputation of just being in those kind of situations.
Yeah, I think that you were the perfect person for that. So I want to talk about that a little bit more. So you were actually those of you that don't know, in Knoxville, the Smokies is the minor league team of the Cubs, and they were originally about 30 minutes north of where we are now. They built a new stadium, and so in the very first year, Leo gets to be the official barber of the Smokies, and so you got to go into the locker room. You got to cut hair at the stadium, which I think is such a cool bonus for the players to look good and feel good. I mean, we know what
Yeah,
that does to confidence and how you play. I think that one of the things that I thought about immediately when you told us that you were doing this was you're the perfect person. I was
thank you.
like, man, they couldn't have anybody more positive to go in there and spend time with them and to make it fun, right? But
Yeah,
before a game, there's a lot of pressure. And so I immediately was like, the players are going to be better. Like the players will be better when they feel cool going out there. The pictures look cool. Like there's something about that confidence that really
yes,
helps. Did you see that kind of like
yes.
happen with some
Um,
players?
I spoke with them before I went in there, right? And I asked them, "Have you guys ever had like a team barber before?" And they said no.
Does it exist? I mean, did any other team? I feel
I know,
like you
I know,
created
I
this.
know they do in some areas, especially in like major leagues or like AAA,
Okay.
probably, but they usually don't, and
Yeah.
that's what I know.
Uh-huh.
But I was so happy that I was the first one to do it, and
Yeah.
like to be the first person to offer myself, and for them to say yes, also, you know,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm super grateful with the team and how they treated me and all the perks they've given me and just being there. It's this change of scenery. It's great. I love it. And but yeah, I think I'm the first one to do it. To be in the double A.
Yeah.
league and being the barber for them.
Yeah.
But I did see a change also in them. They were always fresh. They were happy. If they needed a cut, I was always available for them. So I've seen a change.
That's
Yes.
awesome. I think it's so great. And you're there, you're supporting the team. It's not like you're like, I'm doing this thing for the Instagram post. Like you're
No,
there,
I
like you're
was there.
at the games,
Yeah.
like you're participating. And like, how cool is it
And,
for you to see like them go on the field? Like,
it
what was
was
that feeling like?
it was new. It was something new, and never in my life I would have thought I would have been in that position of just being there, seeing the players play, being in the locker room, you know, just having these great relationships with these great people and just meeting all the people that I met in there, you know, coaches for the Chicago Cubs, trainers, and it was just unreal. You
Gosh.
know, so it was great. And all, you know, all the games also, watching the games, being able to watch the games
Yeah.
was great.
It's so awesome because I think, like I said, you just built this relationship with them that wasn't just their barber. You're going in and you're getting to know them. You're
Yes.
making a difference and an impact. And that's what I think is so special about you is that you are able to connect with them in that way where you're like, no, I like actually want to know you. Tell me your story. Tell me
Yeah.
like what you're doing here and here's what I'm doing, but what are you doing here? Because
Yeah.
I often think about how these major league players, I think about it with One Knox and the UT players even of being like, you land in Knoxville, Tennessee, that can be completely outside of any other world you've known. That's what sports does, right? It'll
Yeah.
put you in a place where you're like, what am I doing here?
Different positions. Yeah.
Yeah, but you make that feel comfortable. You're such a great representation of like the love in Knoxville. You know, I
Yeah.
think that that's good, but you can also speak to them. A lot of them were from, wasn't the, what was the one player that you got really close with that Will, I'm looking at Mark because but like Will got close with, or like really, is it Pedro? Oh,
Pablo and
Pablo.
Pedro. Yeah, Pablo
Yes.
and Pedro, they're my really good friends. They're all my friends, but we got really close with Pedro and Pablo, and we would speak. And that's a beautiful thing about the beauty industry and just being a barber or stylist is that you get to such a personal level with your clients,
Yeah.
and you get to speak about your family and what you do and where you come from and all that.
Yeah.
Which is just beautiful, you know.
Yeah.
And we created a great relationship, and now we talk, and now I think they're now in Venezuela.
Okay.
They're training and they're playing over there, and I think they're coming here next season if they don't get traded.
Yeah.
But
And it's
yeah.
kind of like what you want for them. You're like,
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
That's gonna be hard for you when you see this like
but,
rotation.
having those relationships, I think, will be just great.
Yeah.
You know.
And you've been really great to, I know that you are all able to, you're bilingual, so you're
Yes.
able to speak Spanish with
and
them,
English, and
which is great for them.
and that fits in great, especially in baseball or any sports, because there's so much Latinos and different ethnicities in there that if Spanish comes to play, you can speak Spanish and have that great connection with them.
Yeah.
And that's what one of the coaches told me, that was really great for the players because that gives interaction to them, because they're stuck in there every single day training and playing. So they're just disconnected from the world.
Right.
You know, so bringing that and just speaking with them and having that human connection just makes it a lot better.
Yeah, and then to be able to be comfortable speaking like Spanish with you is like, okay, this is like a home friend, you know? Like
Correct.
it feels like they can be themselves and,
Yes.
and you're able to pull that out of them, you know, which I think is so great. And so I think it's awesome because you're a barbershop owner.
I am.
Also behind the chair a lot, you know, you're still very busy.
Managing the shop and being a barber is almost impossible, but it's something that I am doing.
You work really, really hard. And I think as much as we're talking about, you know, I want to brag about how, you know, you carry yourself and just like, you will have never said no. I mean, you are just like I'm going to do it because I'm working hard at this. It wasn't like you opened your barber shop and you're like, okay, cool. I did that. That was my goal. I'm going to stop. It was like, gas, you know, pedal on the gas. After that, it was like, we're going to say yes
to everything. And that's something that I speak strong on is not everything is monetary. There are certain things which you have to do creating relationship wise, right? Because this is how you kind of evolve as a person, I believe, and as a business owner, is having great relationships, because you never know who or what is going to give you opportunity.
Yeah.
So just having a great relationship with people
Mm-hmm.
and not really looking into monetary exchange for everything is great.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what really helped me is having these great relationships and just being a good person, you
Yeah.
know?
There's a balance there that I think that you walk so well because it's so important to know that. And I'm so thankful that you
Mm.
shared that so much of this is just this isn't maybe a monetary exchange, but this is a relationship exchange. So that means that like it's going to create another opportunity for me. You
Correct.
know, but
Yeah.
also learning. I mean, we've all made the mistake of maybe saying yes to the thing that we were like, oh, wait, maybe that wasn't all for good and it wasn't the best thing. But you learn from that, and almost always it will take you to the next spot. But just knowing that you're trying and you're going to show up in a
And
certain way.
it will help you a lot. Like I'll back in I think 2021, that second year of opening the shop, I got the opportunity to travel a lot. And I would go to these expos, barber expos, and I would learn things and I would apply it here to the shop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's so much I can learn out of here also, and just traveling and meeting people that really leveled me up of just, my professionalism, services, knowing how to charge, all these things just applied to the shop. And thankfully it's worked.
Yeah.
And I did a couple free classes also. There's a bunch of free things that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really grateful for though, because there was so much more than monetary exchange there that I learned a lot of things also,
Mm-hmm.
just being there or just teaching people or just interacting with people.
Yeah.
That's, I would say, knowledge.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
that's
exchange
valuable.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because I think it's easy to get stuck in the, whether it's a salon or a spa or whatever it is, you get stuck in being like, well, I have this. And it's easy to get wrapped up in the checklist, right? Like,
Yeah.
well, if I go, then who's going to do XYZ? But you know how valuable it is for the business for you to go do those things.
Yes, and I would say just take the risk.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain things that sometimes that you can't explain.
Yeah.
It just happens.
It does. But I think you being who you are and like showing up, I think it's really important for, young stylists or barbers or whatever listening that you really have to identify who you want to emulate in the industry, who you want to be and make it your own. But you should have someone that you're looking up to. You should have somebody that you're like,
Yes.
I want to carry myself like them. I want to, show up like them when I'm there. And again, we got to see it because you came to America's Beauty Show with us this year. So we got to see it literally happen like in front of our eyes that, well, the way you carry yourself was the biggest thing. I mean, everybody that you met, you're so polite, oh, it's great to meet you. That might be somebody that, maybe you even have like more knowledge than, or maybe you kind of are bigger than somebody, but you don't treat anyone else different. Like it can
No.
be like you just show up as you are, but that's not always what you will find. Sometimes you meet people and you're like, well, that was a weird vibe, or they were speaking to me in a weird way. You don't do that.
You'll find a lot of that in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of ego.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of ego, people feeling like they're better than you or they're just bigger than you. But at the end of the day, we just cut hair. That's all we do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I respect the level that you are, but at the end of the day, we just cut hair.
Yeah.
And I feel like you just got to treat people the way that you want to be treated, just in general.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's my that's my way.
Yeah.
And but yeah, there's a lot of things that happen in the beauty industry that comes along with that.
Yeah, well, I think the awesome thing, and I ended up missing it because I had to go back and get hair and makeup done. But there was a moment at the show where Leo had, and this was like something that we had like talked about for a while, because we're like, oh, we want to introduce you to this person or that person. We can't wait to show you, right? And it just was kind of weird. You're like, I'm just getting a weird vibe, like whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to just kind of pump the brakes on like trying to force anything to happen. Right.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, like, let's wait and see. Well, then you ended up going and getting the opportunity to, because at the beauty shows, and I know it's like this at the barber expos and stuff, you can walk around at any booth and someone's cutting hair, right? Like someone's doing a class, someone's cutting hair. And so it's this really like this big excitement of like, oh my gosh, who's on stage? That's so-and-so, I follow them. And it'll be like, you're just walking by and you see a random like, whoa, this is happening. So what happened with Leo is it was kind of like was it the second day?
I think, yeah, I
It
think
was
it
the
was the
second
second
day.
day.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was the second day there. So kind of hadn't like knew that you were gonna do something with some company, right?
Yeah.
Like you knew that you were gonna be there and you were gonna like cut hair. You were gonna end up cutting hair. Like
Yeah.
we knew that.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden it's like end of the show day and you start cutting hair and I start getting these text messages as I'm getting like my hair and makeup done and it's like videos of Leo. It's insane like Niley and like we talked about
Yeah.
this on our Niley episode recap but Niley's texting me and she's sending me videos and she's like where are you, Leo has a crowd, and I'm like what do you mean like he got
Yeah.
on, so I didn't know that you would like because it kind of just like happened that
Yeah,
you were like
it just happened. I got there and I started cutting hair. You know, I'm not a huge image in the beauty industry. People know me around Knoxville, but I don't know. I felt like just energy just started coming in, and people was watching me, and
yeah.
you know they really liked what I was doing. So
I mean, a crowd, which
yeah,
wasn't at this specific booth. It wasn't. There was people around, and it's a company that a lot of people knew, so it drew a crowd naturally.
yes,
But not. We never walked by at a different time that there was a crowd like this. So there's just like people, like Niley sending
yeah,
me more and more and more, and I'm like, Niley, it's getting bigger. What is happening?
yeah. It was great.
But that was your light. Like
I
that was just you sharing like I'm here and I'm doing this and it
yes,
literally was like attraction to it.
yes. It was. It's been always my goal to educate. I've done it here and there, but not like for a company yet.
Mhm.
I feel like I have a purpose in it. You know, I feel like I belong there. I feel like I belong with people,
Mhm.
teaching them, seeing that light in their eyes whenever you're explaining something. They're like, wow, thank you. You know,
Mhm.
and this happens also with the kids in high school with whenever I go in there, I'm kind of a role model for them. I can see their eyes light up.
Mhm.
But yes, that day was awesome. I felt some energy, some good energy just around me all the time whenever I was cutting hair. So I was
Mhm.
really happy for that. But I loved it. I loved it, and I loved the talk we had that day also
Mhm.
about just having the right time and just
Yeah.
it was good.
It's a good reminder that like there's times that I or me and Mark will be like, okay, we want this thing. Like that's our next goal. We want to work with this company. And I think this is really a good message for barbers just in general is like you look up to these people and you see all these different brands and every brand has a different vibe of
They
like
do.
what they're carrying and what they're putting off. And waiting for the right door to open is that like what we were talking about.
Yes.
Like there's no running through or like plowing through any doors. You got to wait for that door to open and then
Open.
you walk through it.
And that's something that I learned back about a year or two is that, just work.
Mhm.
Just work, keep working on your craft, keep working on your business. Opportunity is going to come to you sooner or later.
Mhm.
Because whenever you start like wanting to rush into it or you just want it to happen, it won't happen.
Mhm.
Just keep doing what you're doing, keep grinding, and if it happens, it happens. If not, it's you tried.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important too to know that like you were at a certain level, right? Where it was like the right time for it to happen.
Yeah.
Like coming right out of barber school and going and doing that may have been a
Mm,
different
yeah,
experience. Like you got to put the time
I
in.
would have been super nervous. I would have been sweating a lot. Yeah, I would have been bad. But before that moment in Chicago, I did do a couple haircuts and education. So I was kind of comfortable with having people asking me questions and just, it was so natural to me
You were
at that.
ready
Yeah,
for
I was
it.
ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like, it was like that exact moment. And we all felt it. We were
Yeah.
all like, Leo, like we were
Yeah.
so excited for you because we were like, we know it. We know your light and we know what you're capable of. And I know what is to come even more. Like there's something so big and so special about what you're doing. And I think that moment really was like, okay, like he got it. Like he got like again, just like this crowd and all these people. And I know they were all like asking you questions
Yeah.
and like really wanting to
To
know
know what
more
I was
about
doing.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was just again, there was something I wish that we would have been there to talk to people that like were watching that because I know their experience was like blown away.
Yeah.
And I just think there's so much more there. What I know we were talking about, you went back to or you went to Honduras recently.
Yeah.
And so there are some goals that you have of being able to have a barber shop there and all of that someday. Let's talk about kind of what's next for you. You've reached, you're young, you're super young, like you have a young family, young little boy, amazing life, like all the things. You're just getting started. And I know that like you've already accomplished so much. How do you keep that fire burning to like want to do more, to keep that drive? Burnout's a very real thing that people experience in this industry. Is it just that you mix it up and you do so many different things that it keeps you excited? What's keeping you excited?
I think God gives me this fire. I'll just put it there. I think God gives me this fire. I just kind of just remember in the spot that I was whenever I was sick, and I just don't want to be there. I was there at the moment. I was sick. I thought I was going to lose my life.
Yeah.
And I think that whenever I go back to that and I feel that inside of me, I'm just like, no, Leo, you can't quit, bro. You got to keep going, man. You got to keep. God gave you another opportunity to be in this world. Just take advantage of it. Just be there. If you don't want to be there, just wake up and go. That's the mindset that I have. And whenever I feel burnt out, I just go to my roots. Back home, Honduras is my place.
Yeah.
I be with my people, interact with everybody, and just take that deep breath. And I'm like, wow, like I'm so thankful for what I have.
Yeah.
Seeing other people in different situations kind of makes you appreciate what you have. So I think that's what kind of keeps me going, is just going back to where I'm from and having that memory of whenever I was super sick.
Yeah.
I feel so powerful now, I feel so healthy, and I feel so happy that I'm here.
Yeah. Now I know the barber side is a lot more, it's male dominated, like that's just numbers and just facts. And there are a lot more female barbers coming in, but it's mostly male dominated. So I can't exactly speak so much to experience, but from what I think I understand is that your circle matters a lot for who's around you. So just as is, that it's so important to go to the place that gives you energy, you have to really be careful about where you land that is like taking the energy away, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure that there are certain places, just like every other job, but like there's places that might be like pulling the energy away from you and is maybe not motivating you, maybe not the right place that you need to be. What advice do you have for somebody that might be in that situation right now that's like, I feel like I'm not going anywhere. This is kind of holding me back. They don't see my light. They don't believe in me like the way that I see it.
I've always had something in me that if I don't feel good in some place, I'll change it immediately. If I'm not around the people that I like, I just change it immediately.
Yeah.
Because my time is worth a lot to me. And if I'm not spending it well, there's not really a lot of benefits I can bring out of that, So I would say just sit down and evaluate where you are and where you want to be, right? Because that's how you're going to change, is that if you're around the right people and the right place, you'll go where you want to be, right? So I think that's how you kind of change that scenery, is just being the right people in the right place.
Is it like common with like barber school or with whatever to kind of like, did you feel like have you been in this place before where maybe you have felt like, wait, I'm like kind of a light here and I feel like maybe they don't get it or they don't see it? Like, is that a normal maybe feeling sometimes?
There's a lot of people that will see the light in you, but they'll want to turn it off.
Right.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
There's a lot of people that want to do that, but once you bring it in you, it's unstoppable. You'll shine everywhere.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you're in that area of where people are just hating on you, they don't want you to shine, they don't want you to just keep going or just have good accomplishments, that's not the area where you have to be at. You have to change it. Or just create your own, right? That's what I did. I created my own area. I created my own path, my own brand, and I think that's what really changed everything. It's just my vision. the vision, whatever the vision that I have, I created it.
Yeah. I think back when I'm working with the high school students of like just all the things that I'm like, if you just listen to me, like I know this person is maybe not the best for you or this situation isn't the best. I think the sooner that you can identify, what you want to look like in the industry, find people that are doing the things that you want to do and really try to emulate. I mean, I'm thinking about, these 15 to 18-year-olds
Yeah.
that are still figuring out who they are. I think most importantly, make sure you're surrounding yourself with people that are bringing in good energy.
I will say this. Whenever I started cutting hair, I didn't like cutting hair.
Really?
Yes. It wasn't something that I loved.
Yeah. What made you start though? What was it?
My brother, he's not a barber anymore, but he was a barber.
Is he older than you?
Yeah, he's older than me.
Okay, so you were kind of like looking up to him
a little bit.
Like him.
But this is how he put it to me. He was like, "Look, learn how to cut hair. You're young. You don't have to stay in this. Just use it as a vehicle for you to just go other places."
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's how I looked at it. It was a different point of view. I was like, you know what? It's true. I'd rather cut hair than just going to probably McDonald's and getting $6-7 an hour at that time.
Right.
Right? It was so much more flexible for me. It was really good money. So I was like, you know what? It's true. I'll probably use this as a vehicle if I want to go to college and pay my college tuition. Right? So here we are today. Here we are today. I fell in love with it.
What was it that drew you in? When did the spark start to change that you were like, was it the people? Was it that connection?
What started to change that I started getting good at it.
Okay.
And people started telling me how good I was at cutting hair. And they were like, you know what? You have so much future in this. And there's so many opportunities that you can gain while being a good barber or just doing it. And I was like, you know what? This is true. I feel like I belong here. I love how I change people's moods and just being there and the barbershop vibe and talking with people. And, I just loved it.
Do you still sit here sometimes and you feel that and you're like, yep, this is what I wanted. Like, this is exactly what I wanted.
Yes. I'll say that one of the people that I looked up to whenever I was a really young barber was A-Rod.
Okay.
A-Rod was one of the barbers who I looked up into. They used to have a barber shop back in the day called Elegance. That's the brand who they were. They had a barber shop back in LA, and I would watch his videos and all his funny videos also, and that inspired me to just do something similar to him. But yeah, he was a great inspiration for me. I was like, man, I want to be like this guy someday,
Yeah.
And thankfully, it's gone pretty good. But I've kind of bumped into him to shows. He's a really good person. Kind of still learning from him and all that. But yeah, that's somebody that I looked up to whenever I was starting.
Yeah. I think it's great because you really have it's good to have that motivation. And I think it goes back to what we were saying, to know that that's possible. Like, you just maybe hadn't seen that yet. I think a lot of people didn't see what A-Rod turned the barbering industry into, right? And so it was a new way. I think the perception, and even people listening might have their own ideas of what a barber is, or there's so many different sides of it and so many different ways that people do it, but he did it in his own way.
Yeah.
Which is so similar to you, of he just has always been himself, and that's what he puts into his content, his work. It really is incredible. And I wonder if he probably has a similar story of maybe being like, I didn't love it, I had to make it mine.
Yeah.
You have to make it your own way.
You have to make it your own way, because there's being a barber, there's so many different barbershops, so many different vibes, but that's the cool thing about it, is that you can just create your own way. You can create your own shop, create your own vibe, and that's what I love.
Yeah.
It's so independent, it's so diverse. And that's what I love about the beauty industry.
Yeah. I think that there's obviously, like I said, barbering exploded in the last few years, right?
It did.
So there's so many more, the classes are there's so many people coming into the barbering industry now. The expos are huge, or the booths at America's Beauty Show that wasn't always barber focused. It's wait, those are the biggest booths now. There's a shift happening. I think where there's a little more respect on the industry as well.
It
Like,
keeps evolving. That's what I see. You know, it's keeps evolving, and it's a great industry that it just branches to different things. It's just not hair anymore. It's like nutrition, well-being. There's so many branches that it's crazy. You know, it takes you to different levels, different opportunities, meeting new people, servicing celebrities, servicing wedding venues.
Yeah.
You know, it's just mind blowing to me.
Yeah, you did that recently. Like, I was like, where are you? I saw on Leo's story. Like, Leo's always one of the first people that pops up on my Instagram. Like, I watch like every story and I was like, where are you? You're like in the mountains at this beautiful place. I was like, did you get a cat? Did you buy a cat? Like, what's happening? And you were doing a wedding. Like, that is so crazy, but like, what an awesome idea for the grooms. Like, you always hear about brides spending so much money on hair and makeup. This is now coming in. Like, this is the change we're talking about. It's not a guy going to whatever barber shop to have his hair done. His wife was probably like, no, you better look good. Like, we got to get you a barber.
Yes. Yes.
And all of that stuff. So how did that happen?
So I was speaking with the person that's in charge of the wedding venue, and I kind of asked them, is this normal?
Yeah.
Like, is this normal for like the groomsmen and the groom to get like service like this? And she was like, no. Usually women do that.
Yeah.
But men, they don't do it. So I don't know if it's only here in Knoxville or just in general, but I feel like there's a path there. There's a great path for us barbers to kind of provide that service for wedding venues.
Yeah.
And it's great pay.
Yeah.
It's great pay. You know, you're not charging $20 a cut at a wedding venue.
Right.
So I asked her that, and she was like, no, this is not normal. And I was like, I exchanged my information with her, and now she has my information. Yeah. Which thankfully that's going to bring me more business. Yeah. But yeah, the service in general, you know, it's a facial haircut. I just make them feel special for their special day, and I get them ready, styled, and they just loved it. Oh my god. They loved it completely. They were feeling themselves. They were looking at the mirror. They were ready. Yeah. You know, so that's what I wanted. Yeah. And the lady that hired me was like, hey, you know, we found you on the internet. We've seen your shop. We've seen the reviews, and we think you're a great barber. Yeah. So that's how they found me. It all like plays together. And I think like if there is like, I feel like with men in the wedding parties and the gifts, like every man has like 800 flasks that are like have their initials on them. Like, you don't need that. But like, what an awesome gift for your groomsmen to be like, hey, we're going to get our hair done. We're going to get facial. Like, we're going to look good. And that's like such great bonding. I feel like it's making the day more special for the groom also, like, because it really is, like, I feel like it's always been like, it's so much about the bride and what she looks like, but it should be about both of you. About both, yeah. Getting ready that day. And I am so, when you said that, I was like, no way. It was one of those things where you see like a new opportunity, a new way in the industry that is like, oh wait, we can do this too. Like, add this, like, this is going to be huge. Like, I just know it's going to be the norm in a few years. We're going to be like, yeah, that's what you do on your wedding day. Funny thing is that the Trillium venue is the one that shared my reel, because I was creating some content there. Yeah. And I had about four or five people contact me the next day through email asking me if I could be their barber for their wedding. Oh my gosh. Through an email. But all of these weddings are happening like next year. Yeah. So you know how weddings work. They planning ahead. And I was like, this is a new way. This is something that I can create some revenue from, you know? And exactly. I was just like, it's mind blowing to me, but I feel like I was ready also, because I would do house calls, and I would do some Honduran artists also in Nashville, in Atlanta. And I feel like I was ready. I was thorough. I brought my equipment. I set up, did the service. You know, it was really thorough. Yeah. So, and they see that. Yeah, exactly. You know, I was just ready. Yeah, you knew exactly what to do. Again, like, that might not have been the case right out of beauty school or right out of barber school. So I think like that, again, the message of timing, I think, is so important. And to just be like, get the experience so that when that door opens, like, you're ready for it. Yeah. So it's just being ready for it, I would say. There's a lot of situations where barbers don't really want to expand or they don't want to invest in their craft. And all I say about that is that, you know, if you want to go to the next level or you just want to provide these kind of services, you have to invest.
Mm-hmm.
Education, equipment.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be ready for the situation.
Yeah, it's not like you're just coming out of school and you're like, cool, that's all I need.
No.
These are the clippers I'm going to use forever.
And
These are the whatever. I
and there,
mean, it's growing. It's constantly
and
growing.
there's so many things that you can provide also. You know, there's facials, uh, red UV light treatments, haircuts, styling, all
Mm-hmm.
these things just come together and it makes a great package for
Yeah,
it, you know?
it's happening really quickly. It's crazy to see the way that barbers are just changing what they're doing. Somebody that I really love to follow, and I know that we were all together like with him, but Popular Nobody is somebody that I think
Oh yeah.
he is so good about making sure that education and constantly learning, like even him as the example, is so amazing. And again, like you could get to a certain level and be like, listen, they pay me to fly here, they pay me to go here, and you could just stop, right? But I think the difference in somebody that is really just larger than life in the industry is that mindset. Like you have to have the mindset of like, we are not done learning by any means, because as soon as something changes, like as soon as an opportunity comes, okay, well now you're like, what do I want to do next time with the grooms? What do I want to do next?
Yeah.
What do I want to add on services? That's where I think it used to be, definitely, I mean, even 13 years ago, like when I came into the industry, it was like barbering was this thing where a lot of people were doing it unlicensed. Then they like cracked down, right? Okay, so now it's like you have to go get
To
your
school.
license. Okay,
Yeah.
so then all of these people that had all of this experience are back in school, but it really was like this idea that like you can't make money, right? And I remember hearing, well, you know, how much money can you make if you are only how many haircuts can you do in a day, only charging $25, right? And it's that like weird equation. But it's like, okay, so that's one person's way, or maybe that's majority, but like, okay, now we can do weddings, now we can do this, now we can like there's so many other services being added that it's like, okay, let's look at what they're making now, you know?
So that's what I'm talking about is branching.
Yeah.
It branches to so many things. And coming back to that, going to school without, you know, being a barber and not going to school and learning how to cut hair without going to school is one thing and going to school is another, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can speak on that because I started cutting hair at 15 and I got, you know, graduated high school at 18.
Mm-hmm.
I was a barber. I was a barber without a license for a couple of years there.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that going into school, that just changed the whole ball game.
Yeah.
You know, learning how to charge, professionalism, utilizing your tools, disinfecting, all of those things just played a huge role in who I was and just added on to that.
Yeah.
So just going to school is really important.
Yeah.
Going to barber school, just beauty school, it makes you more professional.
Yeah. It's important that we have those hours. And I think there's so many conversations about deregulation and not having that. But like you said, like you did it without a license, and like the difference that it made once you had it,
Yeah.
is what you need. Like it's not something to be fought against. And I think what's awesome is that now students are able to get barbering hours in high school. And there's so many, we were, when we were at the press conference for America's Beauty Show, we got to meet some teachers from the Chicago public schools. And when we were at Beauty Gives Back, we got to meet some of their students. And I just love this idea that they're able to get that when they're in high school. It's such a hard time of life that if you would have like, and you did it, which is awesome, but it's such a hard time of life that if you would have mixed in just some guidance, some direction, some purpose.
Yes.
I think that's so great for them.
Yeah. I feel like the lack of information with people sometimes just delays your process. But once you get the right information, you start applying it to your life, it just speeds up everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think having those hours done in high school, that's great. You know, it just saves you money also, you know, because while you're in school, you have to be paying. So that'll just help you with school.
Yeah. And there's such a push right now, at least in our area, for trades. And I'm so thankful that the schools are recognizing what a valuable resource it is to be able to give them those hours. But I think it doesn't come without them having examples. Like if everybody was unprofessional and not doing it right and not charging properly and all of those things, it wouldn't be as supported. But because we really have made this like staple of like, no, you can be successful. Let me show you how successful successful you can be, and makes them be like, okay, we want to invest in this. It's all a game. I mean, it's the way it works with state funding and all of those things. We have to play that game. But what we can do is really just show them and be the example of how good.
I think it plays a big role. And I've seen that barbering or just the beauty industry has been growing so much nationally, all over the state, all over the country, because it's a great job. It's flexible hours. You choose your schedule. You build your own clientele, and it's just so flexible. And I feel like that's what kids are drawn to, because I feel like after COVID-19, people started seeing life a little bit differently.
Yes, absolutely.
They were looking at life, just not being stuck at work all the time, enjoying life and stuff like that. So barbering offers that.
Yeah.
If you want to just work for a couple hours throughout the day, you can clock in, clock out, and just do whatever you want to do. So I feel like with the younger generation, they start seeing that and they kind of relate to it.
Yeah. I got to see something special too, I was just thinking about how when you came in and taught a class for our students, which our beauty school students were so excited to have a barber in there and to really get to see how great you are and how technical. Like, that was the one thing that they all commented on, is because they're learning clipper cuts, but nowhere in the way that like what you showed them at Leo G level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's different. So they were all so excited, but you brought your nephew in.
Yeah.
I thought it was like the funniest thing, because how old is he? Is he 12?
He's 11.
He's 11. Okay.
Yeah.
So he just like, this is just his Uncle Leo. Like, he didn't think it was cool.
No.
Or whatever. Like, I was like, dude, you're going to be in front of like 50 girls. Like, isn't that the coolest at this time? And he's just like, this is just Leo. And it's so funny how those like people around you are like, this is just him. This is what, and he got like the most insane haircut. Like, what kid at 11 gets to go into school with this haircut? I'm like, are you the coolest kid at your school? Like, everybody has to be so envious.
He's been my guinea pig, man. He's been my guinea pig since I started learning how to cut hair, and I've done so many crazy things on his hair, and he's just used to it. He walks in here, he gets a haircut, he gets a really nice haircut, and he's like, it's whatever. I've had this haircut for a minute now, so. But he enjoys it, and I think he looks up to me. He comes in here, he helps me out, kind of guide him also, and being a barber, because that's what I can teach him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looked at me whenever we got out of school, and he was like, "Are you famous?" And I'm like, "No, buddy. It's just I'm good at cutting hair. That's it,
Oh my gosh, you are, especially to everyone that gets to see you do your work again in person. But I thought it was so cute. Like, afterwards, I was like, "You're going to school with this haircut? Like, are you?" And he was just like, "Ah." Like,
yeah, it was normal.
Boy.
There's a couple students from your school who reached out to me, and they were like, they felt inspired of what I was teaching of, and where I come from, and what I've gone through, and I think that's pretty powerful. And that's happened before with other classes also, and that just fills my heart with knowing people that they feel motivated after they see someone like me.
Yeah. Well, I know you're not able to get in front of all of the high schools. I think right now that's just always been my heart, and like really feeling like we have a way to make a difference just by being, right? Just by providing classes and just by showing them things that like they might have to seek out on their own, or maybe the path wouldn't have crossed. But that is what I think is so important for like the next generation, the future, right? Like, we want to make it better than it is now and all of those things. So what advice, I mean, if you're not in Knoxville and they get to be a part of what you're doing, what advice do you share that you kind of wish that like everyone at that age would start to consider or start to think about as they're finding their way?
Start considering is actually getting into it, is if we're talking about barbering, is practicing cutting hair. I started cutting hair with my nephew.
Yeah.
I would mess up his hair, but I was experimenting at home.
Yeah. With
touching tools and just having that experience with having him in the chair and cutting like a real human being. I would just say start getting into it. Start researching, start looking up to people that you want to be like, because that's what's going to drive you to be the person that you are in the future. So just having role models, mentors, getting into whatever you want to get into, that's pretty much it. That's what I did whenever I was small.
Yeah.
So
Just making that
just
connection to
yeah.
being brave enough to know that the barbers that you're looking up to were once in your situation. So it's not scary to reach out, like send them. It's
Mm-mm.
never been like easier to just like send the DM. Who
No,
cares? You know, shoot your shot
we
and
all start somewhere.
yeah.
We all start somewhere. I wasn't great at cutting hair whenever I started. And I've had a lot of mentors throughout my journey of being a barber. And, anybody that just wants to know more about me or just wants to know more about the craft, they feel free to contact me anytime. I'm an open book. I'm not guarding everything I know. I'm a person that will share my experience. We can all do it.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see like where this takes you. I have one random question before I let you go. If you could have like dream person to cut their hair, or second part is who is the person that like you want to cut your hair so bad? So dream client and then dream barber of doing your hair. Is there someone that if you sat in their
Mm.
chair you'd be like, whoa, or somebody that could sit in your chair?
I would say I got a couple dream clients.
Let's
Yeah.
let's
Yeah,
see.
I got a couple of dream clients. Whenever I was younger, I was really big into soccer. I would watch Lionel Messi play, and I used to play for Barcelona, and he's from Argentina. I think he would be one of my dream clients to cut is Lionel Messi.
Yes,
He's,
okay.
and I would say another one is my favorite artist is Bad Bunny.
Yeah. I
So
don't know why I knew it was going to be Bad Bunny, but I was like, what if he did his hair for the halftime show? Like, can you even imagine
that would be
seeing
sick.
the haircut on national TV and like this performance? Like, I
Yeah.
can't even imagine how awesome that would be.
Yeah, it's that would be my dream.
Yeah.
Right. And my barber that would cut my hair would be A-Rod.
Yeah.
A-Rod has been my inspiration since I've been a young barber, so it'll be him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think like none of that is far off. Like I seriously think it's like the dream like that could very easily happen for you, I think. And I think the way that you're growing and all of that, but I think also just you being you, even if it's not like they saw you on Instagram or whatever, I think just this first step into cutting with the Smokies, like I think that is being the barber like for that is just unreal. So you're already like stepping into the sports side of things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you could totally go down like I think it would be.
Yeah, it'll be sick. I'm excited for what's ahead in life. I'm open to have always to be learning because it's not like I know everything, but I'm really excited for what's ahead, and I'm working hard for it. I'm not stopping.
Yeah.
I'm not stopping.
No, I
No.
know. And we're so excited to watch all of it and so thankful to be a part of all of it. We say it all the time. Like we talk about you all the time and we're just like, man, Leo's just so good and just all of the amazing things just about you as a person. And so I think it's been such a gift. And I'm like, out of all the things of TVPA, like I'm so thankful that we got to meet you and really got to know you and like just following like your family and your baby and like all that is to come for that. I'm excited to watch you grow into being a dad.
Thank you.
You're doing so good and your wife's doing amazing, which you always, it's so sweet because I feel like every time we talk, and this might just be because I'm a mom, you're always just like, she's so good. Like they're little buddies and they've got their thing and she's crushing it, you know? And like just supporting her in that way, I think is so special.
She's doing a great job with the baby. I'm proud.
Yeah.
I'm really proud.
You guys should be. You're doing so great. And I can't wait to see what it's like when he starts coming up into this. Cause like his dad having all of this and showing him, it's probably going to be like your nephew where he's like, whatever. And someday it'll click and be like, wow, that was different. Dad did it in like a different way than everyone else did. So
that is I would say a fact of wanting him to grow up in the barber shop. And if he doesn't want to be a barber, that's fine, but at least he knows where his dad comes from.
Yeah. Well, I have a feeling he will be. I have a feeling he kind of will just, even if he doesn't, like chase it as his job, I feel like he's gonna do it. And I think it's gonna be awesome. I mean, he has the best role model and just seeing all the things and how successful and the life that you're giving him, I think it's great. So good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being
Thank you, Bobbi. Thank you so much.
Where can we follow you on socials?
It's Leo G underscore the underscore barber. And the shop is Phoenix Barbershop underscore Knox.
Awesome. Well, definitely come check it out. I've sent a few people here, I've sent a few guys here to get their hair done. So if you're
Thank
in
you.
Knoxville, definitely check out Phoenix. It's an amazing spot and just really, really great energy. And then you'll be presenting the Barber of the Year at the award show this year. So you'll be able to pass on the title.
Yeah.
So make sure that you check that out as well. And make sure you're following Beauty School Bobbi and Beauty and Style Network. And we will see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.